All right, so today we're diving into something a little bit different. And for those of you out there thinking about how to,
Right.
build an exceptional marketing team, I think this is going to be super insightful.
Yeah, this is a good one.
We're going deep on a professional journey today. We've got a CV, recommendations, cover letters, the works
The whole 9 yards, yeah?
of a marketing expert. And, his name is Daniel Brocklebank,
Yeah.
but he goes by Dan.
Mhm.
So we're going to call him Dan.
Yeah, Dan, it is.
So think of this episode like,
I like that.
your cheat sheet to figuring out what makes a real marketing pro
Right.
adaptable and effective and just,
Across the board, right?
across the board. Yeah,
Yeah.
like how do these people do it?
How do they do it all?
Do it all.
Yeah.
Right. So our mission today is to really unpack
Mm.
the sheer breadth and depth of Dan's marketing expertise and
Wow.
to see exactly how, like, all of his different experiences kind of come together to position him to excel
Right.
in just about any branding and marketing role you could imagine.
Exactly. And I think for you, the listener, who's probably evaluating talent and looking to build out these fantastic teams,
Right.
we've got a great set of sources here for you today to kind of give you that 360-degree view
Yeah.
of, what Dan's capable of.
And what I love about this is
Mhm.
we're not just, glancing at job titles here.
Right.
We're going to trace his entire career path
Yeah.
through all these different sectors, like
Very different industries, yeah.
fast-moving consumer goods,
Right.
which we know is like,
Your everyday products.
groceries and...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your CPGs.
Yeah, exactly.
Consumer packaged goods, yeah.
Then to like digital media
Mhm.
and even financial services.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The gamut, really.
yeah.
It's quite amazing.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
Mhm.
And we're going to look at his education.
Right.
Like, how did he get here? Mm-hmm.
The different tools that he's learned how to use. And crucially, and I think this is what's so valuable, what do his colleagues say about him?
Right. Like, how has he actually impacted those around him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is really like an awesome chance to see how all these different experiences
Right.
come together to make a really
Yeah.
versatile and valuable skill set.
It's the modern marketer.
Yeah.
This is it.
All right. So where do we even begin?
Well, Dan, I think we got to start at the beginning
I think so.
with his educational background, right?
Yeah. Let's do that.
So he got his Bachelor of Arts
Okay.
in motion picture medium
Okay.
with honors from AFDA, and this was back in 2011.
Okay. Now,
Now, hold on.
yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
motion picture, like film school?
Yeah, film school.
What's that got to do with marketing?
Right. You might be thinking that, but
Yeah.
but I think for those of you who are building brands,
That creative background is actually really interesting.
Okay.
So it's something to pay attention to.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I think what's really fascinating here and something for you to kind of keep in mind
Mm-hmm.
is how often we see really successful marketers who came out of these more creative fields.
Really?
That training in visual storytelling,
No.
understanding like narrative structure, how to engage an audience.
Okay. Yeah.
Those aren't just film skills.
Right.
Those are fundamental to good marketing.
Okay.
When you think about like crafting a compelling ad campaign
Mm-hmm.
or even just building a brand story that really resonates with people,
Yeah.
that's all about storytelling.
Right.
And I think that film school foundation probably gave him a really unique and powerful lens to approach marketing challenges.
Okay.
It's just a different way of seeing how to connect with people.
Interesting.
And that's really valuable for you, right?
Yeah.
As somebody who's trying to build these teams.
Yeah, totally. So it's kind of like for those of you out there who need someone to like
Right.
cut through the noise, right? Cut
Yeah.
through all the
clutter.
clutter.
Yeah.
This is like a hint that this person's got that natural ability
Yeah, they can connect
to connect with people.
emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally. And we know that's like
Huge
gold marketing.
in marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, so film school, check.
Check is next.
Well, so from 2011 to 2015, he was at World's View Academy.
Okay.
And this is where we start to see him, really kind of getting some hands-on experience
Mm-hmm.
and different roles within the company,
Okay, like what?
So he starts out in sales and marketing support,
Okay.
then moves to events and facilities coordinator.
Okay.
And finally, he becomes a marketing specialist.
Okay, that's quite a
That's a trajectory.
trajectory.
Yeah, and in just a few years.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
a lot of movement. It speaks to adaptability
Yeah.
and a quick learning curve, which
Which is key.
is so important. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that tell you then?
Well, I think for you, it's like a signal that this is someone who can come in
Mm.
and learn quickly, adapt to different situations,
Right.
right? And starting in that support role, handling customer communication,
Yeah.
order processing, that's really crucial, like ground level understanding of the business.
Nice.
And most importantly, understanding the customer.
Yeah.
Then, he moves into events and facilities,
Mm-hmm.
and that shows you organizational skills,
Okay.
ability to manage complex logistics,
Right.
which is surprisingly helpful in campaign execution. You know,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
you don't think about it, but
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
you're juggling so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So by the time he becomes a marketing specialist, he's seen the business from a bunch of different angles,
Okay.
which gives him a much broader perspective than someone who's been siloed
Right.
in just one function early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a real advantage for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then as a marketing specialist at Worldview, like what was he actually doing? What were his responsibilities?
It was a really broad role. I mean, we're talking like database management, customer communications,
Okay.
event planning,
Mm-hmm.
website management,
Okay.
social media, content creation,
He was doing all of that.
even graphic design.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty comprehensive, right?
That's a lot.
Especially early on.
Right.
For someone just kind of, getting their feet wet in marketing, I think that exposure
Mm-hmm.
to the full marketing mix is so valuable.
Yeah, so for someone looking to understand,
Mm-hmm.
how do you build a brand?
Right. All the different levers you can pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good, I guess, foundational experience.
Absolutely. So for you,
Mm-hmm.
listening, having those diverse responsibilities early on is really like a gold star, I think.
Yeah.
It means he wasn't just stuck in one tiny little area. He was able to see how all these different marketing functions work together.
Mm-hmm. So what stands out to you from that period?
Well, I mean, two things really jump out at me.
Okay.
And I think they really speak to his initiative.
Okay.
So first, he volunteered to redesign the entire Worldview Academy website.
Whoa.
That's pretty major, right?
It's a big undertaking.
That shows initiative,
Yeah.
willingness to take ownership.
Beyond just his day-to-day. Yeah.
Absolutely, going above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And then second, he spearheaded their content marketing strategy.
Okay.
And this was, in the world of organization development,
Okay.
which is a pretty niche field.
Yeah, I don't even really know what that is.
Right, but it's a great example of understanding how to use digital tools
Okay.
to reach a really specific audience and to provide value. So
Right, yeah.
that's pretty forward thinking, even back then.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're seeing like that
It's
initiative, that broad foundation.
it's all coming together, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like it sets him up
Mm-hmm.
for some really significant growth
Yeah.
in the world of digital marketing.
Right, because that's kind of...
And this is where it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's exploding at that point, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
2015, huge growth.
Okay.
So
Where does he go?
he moves to Cerebra,
Okay.
which later becomes part of Wonderman Thompson.
Okay.
Big agency,
Yeah. Big name.
big name.
Yeah.
And this is where we see him
Mm.
really diving deep into digital marketing and analytics,
Okay.
which we all know is absolutely crucial
Right.
for any modern marketing team today.
Totally.
So he starts out as an online reputation management analyst.
Okay, so that's like monitoring and managing the brand's online presence.
Exactly, yeah. Making sure they look good online.
Yeah.
And then he progresses to senior ORM analyst,
Okay.
and then finally, social media team lead.
Okay, so over 4 years, that's
Yeah,
that's significant.
That's moving on up, right?
Okay.
Increasing expertise, increasing value.
It's what you want to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So starting in ORM,
Yeah.
that means he was really focused on,
Mm.
those online conversations,
Right.
understanding brand perception,
Yeah.
dealing with potential crises.
Ooh, that's important.
So crucial today
Yeah.
in our always-on digital world.
Right.
So that experience really gave him
Mm-hmm.
a good understanding of brand vulnerability and how to address it,
Okay, so like that's a key.
which is so important for you.
Yeah.
As you're building a team, you need someone who can,
Who can handle that?
be agile and responsive.
Okay, so he's moving up. What else is he learning?
Well, he developed some very specific skills here
Yeah.
that I think you should be interested in.
I'm all ears.
So social listening, trend analysis, competitor audits,
Okay.
and then turning all that data into actionable insights for businesses.
Okay, so we're getting into the data now.
We're in the data, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
where we need to be in marketing today.
absolutely. And he was also like improving their reporting models and even assisting with crisis communications.
Okay.
So it's very clear that a data-driven approach is becoming really central to his work.
And that's vital, right?
Absolutely vital in marketing today.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then as social media team lead, what's he up to?
Okay, so get this. He's managing a team of 9 community managers.
9.
9.
Wow.
For over 20 brands.
20 brands.
Across Africa for AB InBev.
Whoa.
That's major.
I mean, that's huge.
And for you who's managing big projects, that's a massive project, right?
That's huge, yeah.
Multi-brand across a massive geographical area.
Yeah.
That's serious leadership and organization skills.
Yeah, yeah.
The ability to handle complexity.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what does that even look like, managing a team that big?
Well, you've got to have strategic oversight, right?
Sure.
You've got to have strong communication skills.
Yeah, I can imagine.
To coordinate that many people.
Across that many brands, yeah.
Across that many brands.
And across a whole continent, basically.
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Coordinating community management for brands like AB InBev.
Right.
You have to understand how to maintain that brand voice.
Okay, yeah.
Engage with those different audiences.
Right.
And handle a high volume of interactions.
Yeah.
All while keeping that brand messaging consistent across all those markets.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, okay, so he's not just managing his own team.
Right. He was also a team lead.
What's that?
So he's connecting all these remote teams.
Okay.
And he's encouraging them to share knowledge and best practices.
Okay, so like a facilitator, almost.
Yeah, facilitating collaboration.
Yeah, so that to me highlights...
It really shows you that collaborative nature.
Yeah.
And his ability to build a really positive and productive team environment. And to do it across distances.
Right.
Which is so important today.
Yeah, super important.
With,
remote work.
Yeah, all these different work structures.
Yeah, totally.
So what does this all mean for you?
Well, I mean, so far we're seeing this solid foundation in traditional marketing. We're seeing a really deep dive into digital marketing and analytics and all with these increasing levels of
leadership.
Leadership responsibility. So
absolutely.
It's pretty impressive so far.
It is.
But wait, there's more, right?
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
So much more.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah. So in 2019, he moves to TouchSides as their brand digital and communications manager.
Okay. So now he's...
This is interesting, right?
Yeah, he's coming back to...
It's a return to a broader scope.
A broader scope, yeah.
Of responsibilities, but now at a management level.
Okay.
So it seems like he's ready for that wider strategic impact.
Yeah. He's not shying away from that, it seems like.
No, not at all.
He wants that.
He's ready for it.
Yeah.
And this is where that digital marketing expertise gets integrated into a more holistic brand role.
Okay, I like that.
So at TouchSides, he's responsible for brand strategy, campaign execution, social media management, content, community, analytics, website management, PR, and even copywriting.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's a comprehensive role, right?
It is, yeah.
It shows you he could oversee all those aspects of brand communication.
And did he do anything, like, particularly impressive there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, tell me.
So he spearheaded the launch of this Heineken-partnered brand called Hola Club.
Okay.
And they exceeded sign-up targets by 15%.
Wow.
And they got 188% Facebook growth. 188% growth.
That's insane.
Through audience-led storytelling.
Wow, okay.
And we've even got details of the campaign itself.
Okay.
There's a full brand redesign.
Right.
On-the-ground activations.
Yeah.
Radio, social media competitions, VIP events.
Okay, so this is
It's fully integrated, right?
Fully integrated campaign.
Yeah.
That's a concrete example of success.
Exactly.
Of someone who knows how to manage a campaign.
And deliver those results.
And deliver results.
Yeah.
Okay, so exceeding targets by that much and achieving that level of organic growth on Facebook.
Right.
It shows he really gets it, right?
Yeah, he understands how to connect with an audience, how to build brand awareness.
Yeah.
And he does it through compelling stories.
Right.
And this really well-integrated campaign across different channels. And that, for you, is an example of someone who can not just plan,
right,
but actually execute.
Yeah, make it happen.
And drive some serious growth.
Yeah, totally.
So,
okay, so then
back to Wonderman Thompson.
He goes back?
He goes back, yeah.
Okay, when was this?
In March 2020.
Okay.
And again, as a social media team lead.
Okay, same role, so.
Same title, but different focus.
What was he doing?
So this time it was all about being the custodian of social analytics and listening.
Okay.
For the biggest bank in Africa.
Wow.
And this is building on all his previous experience across all those different industries.
Okay, so.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for anyone in like the financial sector.
Right, or any highly regulated industry.
Yeah.
It shows that he can handle a really complex and sensitive environment.
Absolutely.
So,
what does that tell us about him?
Well, it highlights for you his expertise in social analytics and online reputation management.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
It is, yeah.
For maintaining trust and brand health.
Absolutely. So they trusted him with their biggest client.
The biggest bank in Africa?
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
It does, yeah.
About his capabilities.
Yeah, for sure. So what were his key responsibilities there?
Okay, so we're talking...
I bet it's a lot.
It's a lot. So online reputation management.
Okay.
Providing actionable insights on brand health, customer insights, content performance, competitor activity, industry trends, and social media best practices.
It's like all of it, basically.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's all about guiding the strategic and creative output with data.
Okay.
Making sure every decision is informed.
Right. So he's not just looking at numbers.
Right.
He's finding the story.
He's finding the story in the data.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's using that to make decisions.
Yeah, to inform those strategies.
Right.
And the creative development.
Okay. Yeah, that's a rare skill.
It's a very sought after skill.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Okay. And then on top of that, he was a Montenko member. What's that?
So that means he was elected to work with the executive committee.
Oh, wow.
So he's representing his peers in discussions with the leadership.
Oh, okay. So that shows...
It shows leadership outside of just his team.
Yeah, it's that broader influence, right?
Yeah, and it means he's respected. He's trusted by his colleagues.
Okay.
They see him as someone who can help improve the business.
Yeah, it's not just about his own little area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's valuable for you, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward a bit. We're in June 2022 now.
Right.
He becomes the head of consumer insights and strategy at Ad Dynamo Aleph. So now he's managing a team across Sub-Saharan Africa.
Big role.
Yeah, big role.
Yeah, very senior.
And that's a lot of different countries.
Huge region.
Yeah, what does that tell us?
Well, I think for you, it shows that experience with all those diverse consumer landscapes.
Yeah, it's not just one market.
No, he's got this broad understanding of all these different markets.
Okay, and his responsibilities there.
All right, so managing a team across a region like Sub-Saharan Africa means he's got a deep understanding of the markets, consumer behaviors, all those cultural nuances, and he's leading both insights and strategy.
Okay.
So he's not just understanding the what, he's figuring out the how.
Okay, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and he's applying those insights to actually get results.
Okay, and he's working across these platforms.
Oh, yeah, all the platforms.
X, Spotify, Snapchat, TikTok.
All the big ones.
That's like all of them.
That's the modern digital landscape.
It is, yeah.
And he's contributing to their sales strategy. With insights, he's creating long-term brand strategies.
Okay.
You know, really differentiating those brands.
Yeah.
He's coming up with communication strategies, recommending platforms, and providing like up-to-date consumer data for Sub-Saharan Africa and Ireland.
Wow. So for someone, for someone who needs to understand,
the modern digital landscape.
This is it.
That's it, yeah.
This is the person.
Okay. And it wasn't all just, high-level stuff.
No. He was in the weeds, right?
He was in the weeds, yeah. He was leading the production of these media proposals.
Okay.
Developing these innovative data-led proposals. And he's doing consulting.
So he's like really hands-on.
He's hands-on, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to roll up his sleeves.
Okay, I like that.
And get involved.
Yeah.
And for you, that's a sign that he's not just sitting back.
Right.
Thinking about things.
He's making things happen.
He's engaging with clients, with agencies.
Yeah.
Providing that practical guidance. Really contributing.
Okay. And the fact that he's working.
And the fact that he's working across all these different countries shows you he can adapt to those different market dynamics.
Yeah, super important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, I mean, we've gone through the CV. It's pretty impressive.
It's a great CV.
And what really brings a CV to life...
This is the good stuff.
...is those recommendations. Yeah. Testimonials.
And Dan's they're glowing.
They're amazing.
So Kim Burrell at Wonderman Thompson, she says he always goes above and beyond expectations and delivers data and insights that are thorough and exciting.
That's high praise.
It is, yeah.
Thorough and exciting when you're talking about data.
Yeah.
That's pretty rare.
Yeah, so what does that tell us?
Well, I think for you it means he doesn't just dig deep.
Right.
He presents his findings in a really compelling way that resonates with stakeholders. And that's so crucial.
It is, yeah. You got to get buy-in.
You've got to get buy-in, yeah.
Okay, next recommendation. Ethan Weston at Aleph. He calls Dan nothing short of extraordinary.
Wow.
He says his ability to turn insights into impactful brand concepts and stories is unmatched.
Yeah, those testimonials are really valuable. It's one thing for Dan to say he's good at something, but when you hear it directly from people who've worked with him, it carries a lot more weight.
Right. Yeah. So for all you recruiters out there who are listening, Dan's journey shows how a diverse background combined with that drive to learn and grow and that ability to adapt and lead can bring so much to an organization.
Absolutely.
So maybe instead of just looking at a traditional CV, maybe think about the whole story of someone's career.
Yeah.
That can give you a much better sense of their potential.
Absolutely.
We hope this deep dive has given you some new ideas about how to evaluate talent.
Yeah, it's been fascinating.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Yeah.
See you next time.